that. In lesson 3, we're gonna prove that lines are parallel with our angle relationships that we've learned. So whenever we prove something is parallel, we're gonna need to use something called a converse. It's just a proof, okay? So corresponding angles converse. If two lines are cut by a transversal so that a pair of corresponding angles are congruent, then we can say that those lines are parallel. In this diagram, 1 and 5 are corresponding. If 1 is congruent to 5, then I know for a fact that those lines have to be parallel. And the same goes for all of these. Alternate exterior and consecutive interior, we know, alternate interior and alternate exterior. If those are congruent, then the line is gonna be parallel. Similarly, if our consecutive angles add up to be 180, then we know that the lines are parallel as well. So we need to remember the definition of our angle relationships and which ones are congruent and which ones are supplementary. And if it just so happens that we're given a picture where those criteria are met, then we know that the lines are parallel. We have proved it using the math. So in these examples here, determine if the two lines are parallel based on the information provided. And then if they are parallel, state the converse that proves it. So let's figure this out. 63 and 63. This corner and that corner. Okay. What is their angle relationship to each other? They're on the outside and they're on opposite sides. They are alternate exterior. So now I need to go check, maybe go back in my notes, figure out, our alternate exterior, are they supposed to be the same or are they supposed to add up to be 180? And alternate exterior should be the same. So the answer is yes. These lines are parallel because alternate exterior angles are the same. So I will say alternate exterior, but then I need to add that word converse at the end. I'm using the alternate exterior converse. Okay. That's the proof, that's the reason. And number 2, how does this angle relate to this one? What's their angle relationship? One's on the inside, one's on the out. I hope that they're corresponding. This one's in the rightmost, this one's in the rightmost. Yes, and they are the same. This arc tells me that those measures are the same. They are parallel, and the reason is the corresponding converse. Because I know corresponding angles should be the same. Here, how does this angle relate to that one? They're both on the outside and they're both on the same side, so I have consecutive exterior. If I look back at my notes, consecutive exterior should add up to be 180. So is 132 plus 48, does that give me 180? 0, carry the 1. All right, the answer is yes. And the reason is consecutive exterior converse. Remember, the only time we're saying the word converse is when we are proving things parallel. That is the only difference. Here, how does this angle relate to that angle? They're vertical. They're directly across from each other. They make that cross, right? And vertical angles should be congruent, and they are. But that doesn't tell me anything about this up here. This line might not exist for all I care. This line could be like parallel, or it could be tilted, or it could be down. None of this angle affects this right here. And if we scroll up and look at what we just did, none of these say anything about vertical angles. So vertical angles and linear pairs mean nothing when we try to prove parallel. So we are going to say no. We can't determine. Here, how does this relate to that? Well, they're both on the inside, they're both on opposite side, they're alternate interior, and those should be the same. And these are, because this arc tells me they're the same. Yes, these lines are parallel because of the alternate interior converse. And our last one. All right, how does this angle relate to that one? Both on the inside, both on the same side. That's consecutive interior. Those should add up to be 180. So 125 plus 65. It should be 180. 0, carry the line. Ooh. Nope. Okay. Doesn't add up to 180. It's not what we want to see. Okay. So given the following information, determine if any lines are parallel and then state the converse. This time we don't need to write the word converse because it's implied in this column. So we're just going to go down and we're going to figure it out. 2 and 4. All right, zoom in. Well, 2 is here, 4 is here. So we're talking about those top sections. The transversal that covers it only has to do with this, so the entire bottom of the problem doesn't really work for me. I gotta cover that up. Let's see, it's telling me 2 is congruent to 4. Well, these are corresponding angles, and corresponding angles should be congruent, so the parallel lines work here. The lines that are parallel are going to be these ones, C and D. C parallel to D. And our reason will be corresponding angles. Five and 10. Well, 5 is congruent to 10. Okay. So I'm dealing with the ones on the left. I might cover this up. And now what's their angle relationship? Alternate, interior, and those should be congruent, and this is telling me they are. So the parallel lines for 5 and 10 is going to be these ones running side to side. A is parallel to B. And my reason is their angle relationship of alternate interior. One and 13 add up to be 180. 1 and 13. So I'm covering up the right side. This is not important for my problem. Let's see, what's their angle relationship? Consecutive exterior. And those should be supplementary. So yeah, they add up to 180. My parallel lines here are gonna be A and B again. And the reason is going to be consecutive exterior. Okay. Let's do a few more of these because I think we'll probably get it soon. 1 is congruent to 14. 1 and 14. All right. Well, the parallel lines I'm looking at are going to be A and B again. Okay. And 1 and 14 are the same. Looks like they're alternate exterior, and those should be the same. So that works for me. Alternate exterior. Did red next. 14 and 15 add up to 180. Okay, so 14 and 15. The parallel lines we're talking about here are C and D. And it looks to me that they are consecutive interior. Those should be supplementary. So it tells me they add up to 180. Okay. Consecutive interior. And then 1 and 16 are the same. All right, well, 1 and 16. Okay, it tells me they're the same. But there's no transversal. There's no one line that both 1 and 16 share. I can't take the subway directly from 1 to 16. I have to take this line here to get to that one. That's not good enough for me. So I'm going to say none. And we don't need a reason because we don't have parallel lines. Okay? And you can continue all the way down with that one, but we won't. We're going to do the exact same thing here. Okay? It's a different shape, but it's the same thing. Given that 9 and 22 are the same. So where's 9? Where's 22? All right, I got a lot of lines here. But the only thing that matters for me is where the 9 and the 27 meet. So this whole right side, not important. And to be honest, I don't even need this top thing. I can cover up all of this because I'm only worrying about this part right here. And maybe use a sticky note or an extra piece of paper to do that. Let's see, it tells me the 9 is the same as this. They are alternate exterior, and those should be the same. So the parallel lines are gonna be these two here. R is parallel to Q, and our reason is alternate exterior. Eight and 13. Okay. I can cover all this extra stuff up. I only care about this stuff here. The parallel lines are P and Q. And it tells me they add up to be 180, while consecutive interiors should. So my reason is consecutive interior angles. 1 is congruent to 17, 1 and 17. Okay, so here's a little tricky part, because we're skipping that middle line, right? Q, I'm jumping over this one to get to here. Maybe delete everything else so you can focus on it and see how we skip this over. That's okay, we can skip over that. Cover that up if you want to on your paper. But right now I'm only caring about line P and line R. And it looks to me that they're both in the top left, so they're corresponding angles, and corresponding angles should be congruent. So my parallel lines are P and R, and the reason I know they're parallel is because of corresponding angles. Okay, let's see, let's jump down and look at letter F. 10 and 13. 10 and 13. Okay. So looking at this here, I do have one transversal that covers them. I can take this line straight there. But the parallel lines would have to be S and T. They'd have to be, because it's the only other thing. If I cover everything else up, if I scribble out this bottom, and I don't focus on that, and I scribble out the top, and I don't focus on that, well, then this has to be that. All right, do these lines look parallel? No, they don't. And it's telling me that 10 is the same as 13. Okay, it can tell me that all at once, but I can just tell by looking at S and R that these are not parallel, so none. And then we don't need a reason. So take this slow, go bit by bit, and you can fill in the rest of this with a partner.